Good morning. Good morning, all our virtual students at home, parents that might be joining us. This will be available on our YouTube channel if you'd like to watch it later on. Good morning, our students that are in person today. It is my honor, my pleasure to have Pensacola Christian College here with us, and we'll be bringing up Mr. Fennerin in a moment to give you a brief overview of what they have to offer. And more importantly, your continuation in Christian education. So without further ado, William, please join us.
Thank you so much. Awesome. Hey, thank you so much. How are we doing this morning? Good. I'm glad to hear that. Really quick, before I jump right on into things, I just wanted to tell you that I am very excited to be here with you guys today. Just to get to meet, I know I've very briefly got to chat with some of you right before we started here this morning, but thank you for allowing me the chance to come here and meet you guys today, kind of go through some stuff. Again, also welcome to those watching by way of live stream as well, whether it be students, parents, whoever it is. Hey, we're excited. I'm excited for the chance to be able to be here and kind of to just go through, walk with you through a couple of different things this morning. Really quick, I know you already heard my last name, but let me introduce myself really quick so you know who we got, who the weird guy is up here, talking with you guys today. My name is actually Bill. It's actually William, but no one ever calls me that. Everyone just calls me Bill. I was at a school I think it was last week maybe, and I showed up and they said, so who are you? Because we have a letter here that says Bill will be here, and you certainly can't be Bill. And I said, were you expecting someone who was like 80 years old, right? And they were like, absolutely, So that's not me, but that's just what everyone calls me. So you guys can call me really whatever you want, as long as it's nice. I will deal with it. Let me tell you a little bit about me and what I'm doing here today. I am obviously from Pensacola Christian College. I'm a full-time college representative. Sometimes people don't know what that means. How many of you have sat through a presentation like this in the past? Okay, just a couple. Excellent. I love the opportunity to be able to be a part of a service, a presentation like this for people who really have not ever done something like this before. If you have, a college representative like myself, we travel full time. Absolutely, 100%, not 100% of the time. About 49 weeks out of the year, we're on the road, right? We have no house. We just different hotels every single night, okay? We get to go into different schools just like this one. We absolutely love the opportunity to do so. A little bit more about me. I am originally from Ohio, from the north there. I did go to Pensacola Christian College. I studied history and music education both. All that to say, super excited to see what God's going to do with those degrees in the future, but for the time being, I'm a full-time college representative. Absolutely love it. I keep referring to we. My wife is normally with me as well. She wasn't able to be with us this morning, but she's normally here. I know she would have loved the chance to be able to get to know you guys, meet you guys as well. That being said, I did already ask, how many of you had been through a presentation like this before? How many of you actually have, let's put it this way, let's make it really broad. How many of you know where Pensacola, the city, even is? Can I see your hand? Okay, it's funny because especially here in Florida, you would think, or I would think a lot more people would know, but for some reason, a lot of people don't know where Pensacola is. The best way I can describe it, especially to people who live here in Florida, how many of you have ever been to Disney? Raise your hand. Universal Studios, those types of things. How many, do you guys like it? Do you guys like it? Yes, I always like to kind of compare it to Disney and where Disney's located. Disney's a lot of fun. We are absolutely located nowhere near Disney World, okay? I always like to talk it up and then let you down. We are very, very far away from Disney. In the panhandle of Florida, you'll see it up there on the map. Obviously, being from Florida, you guys already know all there is about the different, let me see if I can get us here. There we go, the different beaches and those types of things. Hey, you live here in Miami, okay? You're familiar with those types of things. That being said, I always tell people, listen, congratulations. That was the very first part of the presentation. You made it through it. So let's jump into a couple of other things, okay? When it comes to traveling around, just like we get to do, I love the opportunity for a couple of different reasons, and we'll jump into those reasons in just a second. But one of my favorite things is just to be able to get to know you guys a little bit better. I remember when I was in high school, we had college representatives all the time come into our school, right? And they would be so excited to see us. Or so they said. And right, they were just so happy and they were pumped and they would come in and say, listen, good morning, everyone. Hey, here's what we're going to do. Let's play a game. And there I was as a senior in high school, like, a game? Who wants to play? And then we just hated them even more. So let's do this really quick. Let's go ahead and play just a quick game real quick. I'm just kidding. I'm not going to make you do that. I am not going to. How many of you, I heard some people, how many say, hey, no, let's play a quick game? Let's do it like this. Let's compromise. We'll not play a game per se. Sometimes, I don't do this every time, but sometimes you'll see, I don't know if my slide here is out of order here. Let me see if I can find where I'm looking for. Sometimes I do it differently every time, but sometimes I like to ask certain questions when I go into different schools. So that's what we're going to do. We're not going to play a game per se, but I do want to hear from you guys a little bit this morning. Very easy questions. First question, raise your hand if you're in the 9th grade. Where's the freshmen? Okay, all the way on this side, 10th graders. All right, toward the front, juniors and the seniors. All right, there we go, right down in the center. I told you these are going to be pretty easy questions. Now, this one is one that tends to go either way. How many of you out there would be coffee drinkers? You say, we like coffee here. Okay, how many of you guys would say, listen, when it comes to different coffee brands, I'm a Starbucks person all the way. Anyone out here say you're Starbucks? Okay, I already hear some different options. Starbucks was not a hit this morning. What about Dunkin' Donuts? All right, a couple more people. What is I saw a lot of coffee people's hands, and then I didn't see a lot of people voting. What's the best coffee around here? Okay, those are the other two answers we typically get, especially here in Florida. How many of you would say Cuban coffee? Raise your hand. What is that? Yes, whatever she said. Absolutely. I was going to say it's kind of funny because we've been down here in southern Florida for a couple days now, and I have still yet to get myself a Cuban coffee. So after our presentation today, I know it, after the presentation today, that's the plan. I need to go get myself a Cuban coffee. What about, how many of you would say homemade coffee? Make it at home all the way, absolutely. I would agree, except I don't have a home. If I had a home, I would make it at home. It's kind of depressing. What about this one? This one is fun because whenever we go to different parts of the country, I get different answers. When it comes to, and I'm hoping that you guys are going to be a little better than my school yesterday. They did not understand what I was asking when I asked this question, but I'm hoping this is going to go over well. When it comes to different soft drinks, what do you all here call your soft drinks? Let me just hear. Soda. I heard soda. How many of you raise your hand and say it's soda all the way, all day long? Most of us in here. Does anyone call it anything else? What is it? Pop? How many of you would say pop? Raise your hand. Yeah, some would say don't raise your hand. It's interesting to me because honestly, soda has been the prevalent one here in South Florida. I'm interested to hear what those folks watching would call it as well. There's a rumor, and I can say this because we were actually just in Michigan and Ohio last semester. There's a rumor, right, that comes with this part of the country. For some reason, the folks in Michigan, the people in Ohio, they think that everybody down south calls it Coke. Like everything is a Coke. Is that a real thing down here or not? All right, now I have to ask, how many of you call it Coke? All right. I'm just curious. Somebody explain this to me. If you want like a Dr. Pepper, if you want like a Sprite, how do you order that if everything is Coke? Nobody says. I had a couple people raise their hand, and that's probably, yeah. Just don't take their answers, right? Just ignore them. Yeah. It's definitely an interesting question. Here's another one, and this one is this one's funny. Because I don't always ask this question because this is a dangerous one. One time, and I can say this because my wife's not here, she told me, hey, you should ask your students this question. And I said, that's the dumbest question I've ever heard. Why would anybody care? But then one time I was doing a presentation, and I could see her in the back, and she was like, ask the question, ask it. So I was like, fine. So I asked the question to a senior class. There's probably about 30 seniors in this class. All I had was the seniors. And the people in the very back row, which... I mean, it just so happened that we've got 3 seniors in our very back row today. The people in the very back row were so passionate about their answer. They started arguing, and then the next thing I knew, I turned around, and they were literally hitting each other. So do me a favor. Yeah, keep your hands to yourself. Here's the question, and this might be disappointing, but I'm going to ask it. How many of you, when it comes to different breakfast items, how many of you guys would say, I would prefer to eat a waffle? And then how many of you would say you're more of a pancake person? Oh my goodness. Okay, so this is why I ask, because it always is the one that gets people talking. Raise your hand if you're a waffle kind of a person. All right, I would probably be right there with you. Now, keep your hands up, waffle people. Somebody in the very back row, tell me, why are waffles better than pancakes? Sure. She is a terrible salesman. She says it's just good. That's why. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead. Oh. For those of you who are watching online, maybe you didn't hear, we had someone said because waffles have holes just like, did you say just like her head? I love it. Okay. One of the biggest things that we always get well, actually, you know what? I forgot to ask. Where's the pancake people? Not very many pancake people. That's interesting to me as well. You know what? I have to tell you a story because you guys are this is always the question that gets people talking. I got to tell you a story really quick because we've already seen some fighting already this morning. One time I was at a school and I asked that question. And do you guys know those individuals, those girls who they know like everything, right? They've got it all figured out. I know we have no one in here like that, but you know, I'm sure you're familiar with those people. Okay, one time I asked that question and she was all for waffles. And I said, why are waffles better? Man, she shot her hand up so fast. And I said, please tell us why waffles are better. And this is what she said. And I quote, well, obviously, waffles are better because you can put fruit on top of your waffles. Does anybody have any idea what I told her? I wanted to tell her that, but I didn't tell her anything because it wasn't worth it. I was just like, you know what? You're absolutely right. Let's move on, okay? So that being said, let's move on to some other things. I always enjoy asking those questions because it gets me to number one, it's fun for me to see you guys fight. But also, hey, it gets me to know, you know, you can learn a lot about a person just from what they like and what they don't like. And so I always like to ask those types of questions. Now, that being said, let's jump into a couple different things this morning. I'm hoping that this is going to be an exciting time for us now that we've gotten to know each other a little bit this morning. Is this what I think it is? Oh my goodness. Try it right now? All right, y'all ready for this? Wait a second. Hold on, I gotta do this real quick. All right, y'all need to smile. Ready? Yeah, give me something here. Ready? Excellent. Thank you. All right, you ready for this? Yeah. I'm not even gonna lie. Being from Ohio, we do like hunting and fishing and all those types of things. I thought when I first saw, I thought it was a thing of worms. Yeah. I was like, thank you so much. Appreciate it. All right, ready? Ooh, it smells so good. Interesting. Oh, you're supposed to do the whole thing at once? Is that the truth, or are we just? I'm not even gonna lie. That is very good. It's very sweet. I don't think I was expecting it to be so sweet. My parents are they're missionaries kind of with a Bible translation ministry, and they actually did a deputation here in Miami probably a year ago, and they've been raving about the Cuban coffee, and they just called me yesterday. They said, did you try some yet? So I'm gonna have to send them the picture I just took of y'all. I need another sip. Is that actually a thing where you do drink the whole thing at once? It is tiny. I'm getting a lot of different reactions here. All right, we're ready to go, right? We are ready to jump into things. Thank you so much. That was delicious. My wife is going to be so mad that she missed the presentation today. But man, that is amazing. Here's what I need you to do. I've never had to ask a group of students this before, but if I start going at 1,000 miles an hour, I need someone to raise their hand and tell me to slow down, because that was really good, all right? Yeah. All right, so let's jump right into a couple things. Thank you so much. That was definitely interesting, okay? I want to, whenever I go into a presentation like this, I get to talk with students. I have never one time said, and for those of you watching by way of live stream as well, I have never once said, listen, every single one of you needs to go to Pensacola Christian College because it is the best place on earth. I've never said that once. I don't believe that for 1 second. What I do believe is this, and as we go throughout our time today, You'll see the word is growth. That's what I want to focus on for the next couple of minutes this morning. We're going to see how you can personally grow in the future, okay? And a couple different areas of growth. That's what we're going to be focusing on today. And remember, I told you, I never come in and say, Pensacola Christian College is the best place. What I do believe and what my message is that I would encourage every one of you to find what it is that God is calling you to do and stick with that. Because if you're not right in line with where God is placing you and where God wants you to be, I can promise you'll never experience true personal growth, right? And I know every single one of you would agree with that statement as well. The biggest goal today is to really encourage you to consider Christian education. Sometimes I meet students and they've got an opinion or they've got an idea, and it's that, I can't get a good job, I won't be able to get a good degree. That's fine. I'm not here to change your mind, sell you a product, change your opinion. What I am here to do is get you to simply open the door and consider Christian education, right? Does that make sense? Okay. It's a very broad subject that we're going to discuss this morning. Now, of course, I am from Pensacola Christian College, so how am I going to try to open the door to Christian education? By talking about my college that I came from. Because I absolutely loved it. That's what God had for me. And I would love to get you to think about what your experiences could be by telling you about my story, my experience. Does that make sense? Okay. So jumping right into a couple things, I am going to question, what is normally during this period right now? Bible? For everybody? So, but we have class normally right now, right? Okay, do me a favor, and you guys have already been fantastic, right, about this already. If we're going to get you out of class for a couple minutes, let's not treat this one like another class. I want you guys to be asking questions. I want you to be giving me your input. I'm going to be up here going through a couple of things this morning, this afternoon, and I would love for you to interact as well. That being said, when it comes to different decisions that you're going to make in the future, by the way, does that have to be college? Absolutely not. What if God calls you to stay home, to jump into the workforce, go into the military, state university, community college? Maybe it's a Christian college. Again, find what God has for you and stick with that. But when it comes to making a decision, what is one thing that you should probably consider when you're going to make that decision? Somebody raise your hand and just give me one thing. It might be important only to you. Maybe it's something really obvious. Maybe it's not so obvious. Someone give me one thing that you should consider, you should think about when you're going to make a decision after high school. Go ahead. Money. This one's huge, right? I think a lot of times in Christian circles, we always think, oh, money's a bad word. It totally does not have to be, right? When you graduate, you're going to need a car, a house, groceries. How do you get those things, right? Money. Maybe the question, very broad, he said money. Maybe it's how can I save money? Maybe it's how much money is this going to cost me, right? All these things, that you should think about. Money is a great one. What's something else? Go ahead. I'm sorry? Fulfillment. This one is so important because what is something that you are interested in? Let's put it this way. I have no interest at all to go into the medical field. And so would I choose a place to go where I am going to be getting, let's say, a nursing degree? Absolutely not, because I do not have any fulfillment in that. In fact, it is not something that interests me at all. Again, I can promise you this, your greatest fulfillment is going to be where God wants you to be. And you know what, a lot of times, this is an interesting thought, right? What does the Bible tell us? That the Lord will give us the desires of our heart, right? Now, does that mean he gives us everything we want? Absolutely not. What it means is oftentimes God will place a desire within our own lives to kind of direct us and guide us where he would like us to be. Again, fulfillment. That's a great one. What's another one? These are great answers. Let's just think of maybe one more. Think about your own life personally and think, hey, if I were to graduate today and I needed a place to go, an option to choose, whatever the case is, what's something I would think about? It could be small, could be big, could be whatever it is that is important to you. Someone give me one more thing. Go ahead. Convenience. This one is amazing to me as well. What is the daily, I always say this, it's the so what of Monday morning, right? You make a big decision, get a new job, you go to a college, you go to the military, but when I wake up on Monday morning, what is that going to mean for me? Convenience is definitely something to consider. What is the daily life going to be like for me? Again, that ties in with money that we heard, that ties in with fulfillment. You guys have all given me great answers this morning. Here's what I want to do. I want to take just a couple of those things that you mentioned. Remember, we're talking about growth. And we're going to take some of those things that we just heard you all mention, and show you specifically how Pensacola Christian College can offer those to you in the hopes of getting you to see, hey, in the hopes of getting you to start to think about this process, right? Think about all those different options that you have available to you. I hope that makes sense. That being said, let's jump right into a couple things. Remember, we are talking about growth. The first area of growth that obviously would be, kind of like a no-brainer when it comes to making decisions would be academic. Another way I could describe that would be fulfillment, right? What is something that you enjoy doing? Does anyone here already know, listen, as a 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th grader, I already know when I graduate, I want to or have an interest in being, fill in the vocation. Anyone in here say, I already have an idea of what I might want to do? Can I hear some of them? Firefighter. Absolutely. Yes. I'm sorry? Actor. Absolutely. Anyone else? I saw a hand, I think, over here. Somebody else give me something. These are great answers. Anybody else have any idea that they might be interested in a specific field? Go ahead. Architect. Absolutely. Again, the reason I ask these things is because my goal is to get you to start to think about this process. And for those of you that just gave me answers, you've already started to think, right? I'm sure many of us in here have already started to think as well. Do me a favor, if you'll allow me, I'm going to go through several different academic departments. These are broad fields just to show you kind of in like a list view what Pensacola Christian College offers academically, but also to show you, hey, those are different fields I might be interested in at other universities as well, okay? The very first one I think a lot of times people think of, you see this list up here on the screen, and a lot of times people ask me, can I only get a Bible degree at a Christian college? Absolutely not, right? We have 59 different programs of study to choose from. Every one of these are accredited programs. You heard me already mention Bible. Listen, if God's called you to be a pastor, a youth pastor, an evangelist, a missionary, hey, the Bible department would be something you would want to look at. But again, you don't have to just get a Bible degree at a Christian college. A couple other broad categories that we can go through here very briefly. Business. My wife was actually part of the business department. She was a medical office degree. This would be things like sport management, business management, finances, accounting, marketing. Whenever I have individuals who say, you know what, I'm not entirely sure what I want to do specifically after high school, I encourage them toward the business department because the things that you will be learning in the business department can be applicable to so many areas of your life. Let me explain. You are going to need to, we already heard money, finances. Hey, get a finances degree. Learn how to manage your money. A management degree. Learn how to manage your time. Learn how to delegate yourself to different tasks that you have throughout the day. Marketing. Exactly the same thing. It's all of these broad categories that are really going to benefit you in your personal life as well as your vocation as well. A couple more. My personal favorite, would be education, right? I told you I was an education major. What better place to learn how to be a Christian school teacher than at a Christian school? Engineering, this one is for all of you smart people out there. This one was not for me, right? This is actually one of our degrees that's accredited twice through something we call ABET, A-B-E-T. If you're interested in engineering and you've looked at state universities, community colleges, you'll know that ABET accreditation for engineering is found in many different places. There's several different avenues by which you can study engineering as well. A couple more. Humanities, this one's funny. A lot of times people don't have a clue what this means. Let me explain. This would be broad categories, broad studies in like history, music, art, language, but also things like criminal justice, political science, pre-law, all would fall under humanities degree. A couple more. We're just going to go through kind of in a list view here. Natural sciences, chemistry, biology, biochemistry, pre-physical therapy, pre-medicine, pre-pharmacy, all would fall under the natural sciences department. And again, if there are any questions about any of these things, definitely, we'll have a question and answer time at the end as well, but feel free to ask me even now. My favorite one to talk about would be nursing. It's actually our #1 program at Pensacola Christian College. A lot of people don't know that. It's highly competitive, and here's why. It was just ranked the 3rd best nursing program in all of Florida. And you may or may not already know this, but Florida's the top state in the country for nursing departments. We were just ranked #3. Nursing is also accredited twice through something we call CCNE. It's another nursing accrediting body there. A couple more very quickly here. Performing arts. This one, along with visual arts, they're kind of very similar here, as in, hey, you have an ability, speech, music, drama, visual or graphic design, studio art, those types of things. Hey, if you have that ability, take that skill, hone in on it for whatever God's preparing you for in the future, right? I've just gone through a quick list of broad categories just to get us to start to think about different options we're looking at in the future. When it comes to making a decision, I always like to mention this. When it comes to making a decision, why do we go to college in the first place? I'll just ask everybody. We go to college to get a really good what? I heard both of them. A really good education and a really good job. Did you know that 96% of our students within 1 year are either employed, they have a job, or they're in graduate school, right? They're furthering their education. What schools would ever take someone from a Christian college to further their education on a graduate level? A lot of big-name schools actually have consistently accepted our students, even some Ivy League schools as well. I'll just leave that up there for you to see really briefly. We mentioned, hey, we're talking about how you can see yourself growing in the future, and the first area was academically, right? We already heard what are your interests, what is something that is going to be fulfilling to you. The next category, if you will, of growth I want to speak to would actually be this word, you'll see it up on the screen, spiritual. Now, sometimes when I'm in schools, I will say, listen, guys, at Pensacola Christian College, you can grow spiritually, and you really can. But sometimes I'll say, you can grow spiritually because of this and this and this and this and this. And I'll go through a couple of different things. I don't want to do that this morning. Instead, I want to tell you a story. I told you my wife and I were up in Michigan last semester, and I was at a school where the administrator came up to me after the presentation. He said, thanks for being here. I want to tell you something. Did you know that we have been at this very same ministry, this same school for 33 years? That's a long time. He said, we've been here for 33 years, and it's amazing to me to see my students. Maybe they started in K3, K4, whatever it was. They go all the way through their 12th grade year, and it's amazing to me to see just how different my students are when they graduate and they come back from just one semester at fill in the blank, right? Now, don't miss this. Am I saying that was the wrong decision to go to that fill-in-the-blank college, that fill-in-the-blank option? Absolutely not. I would say this, though. Consider how you will grow spiritually in that fill-in-the-blank option. Does that make sense? You're in a great Christian school right now. You're learning about God. You're learning about His Word. Consider how your choice now will be able to affect your spiritual growth in the future. Again, I give you this information just to get us to start to think so we can make informed decisions after our high school years. We talked about academic growth, spiritual growth. The very last area of growth I want to touch on briefly would actually be, you see it says campus life, but social growth, as in, we already heard it, convenience. What in the world? You could have the best options and the best growth and all these types of things, but if on the day-to-day, Monday morning, if I'm miserable, what is that going to matter to me? Let's talk about the campus life very quickly here. I'm actually going to just let some of these slides just kind of play through here just to show you a little virtual tour around campus. I normally have a video that sometimes I'll show at this part. I'm going to kind of forego that today, but again, just to show you around campus a little bit as well. How many of you, and I asked earlier, and I wasn't sure if I saw everyone's hands or saw everyone, how many have actually been to the campus before in here? Has anyone ever been to the campus? This is excellent. If you ever get to go, and we'll talk about ways you can visit the campus in a second, but if you ever get to go, you got to check out one of our buildings called the Sports Center. The Sports Center obviously has sports, and we'll get into those in just a second. But what else can you find there? We actually have the largest indoor rock climbing wall on the eastern coast of the United States in the Sports Center. Tons of fun, right? We also have a full-size ice skating rink, inline skating, smaller things like volleyball courts and racquetball courts or rooms. I'm not sure what you would call a racquetball court. Something like that. What else? We actually have an indoor water park. That's a lot of fun with a flow rider. How many of you have ever been to an escape room before? Have been. How many of you don't have a clue what an escape room is? I love escape rooms, right? We actually have an escape room on campus as well. If you've done the escape room, do it again. They change it every single year. All of these different opportunities for you to be able to get involved with, all of them are 100% free to students. I think the escape room is $5 or something like that. But hey, all of these things are free to students. Again, if you are interested in sports, you have opportunities to get involved with sports on the campus of Pensacola Christian College. Maybe it is, collegiate sports. A collegiate is kind of like a fraternity, a sorority. We just call it something different. It's like a team you join when you go to college and you stay with that team throughout your 4 years. You'll see it up there. We have over 1,000 different collegiate games and sporting events every single year on campus for you to watch, get involved with, sometimes both. Definitely opportunity for you. Maybe you want to play on the college athletic level. Hey, the college athletic teams, definitely get involved with those. We have both men and women's sports. We can go into more details about those a little while later as well. This one is kind of interesting. Speech, music, drama, those types of things. Is anyone here interested in speech and music and drama? I always like to at least ask. Couple in here, yeah, absolutely. When it comes to those types of things, you do not have to be a speech major, a music major, performing arts major, any of those performance studies to be involved with those productions. This is actually one of our fine arts productions, which is a campus-wide event. 5,000 plus people are going to be at this event, but then they also range in size all the way down to just a couple students. I know the speech class that I took had about 15 students in it, right? So there's a lot of different variety within the speech and music department. Over 115 different recitals and plays and productions for you to get involved with every year. I've got some interesting stories about those as well. If we have time at the end, you have to remind me. Again, I mentioned music earlier as well. You don't have to be any of those, studying music or speech or to get involved with those, right? You have the opportunity to do that regardless of what you're studying. This one's kind of interesting to me whenever we talk about these next couple slides are my favorite. Where's the seniors one more time? Okay, here's our senior class. When I graduated from high school, I actually graduated in a class of just two, right? Like me and one other person. It was a little odd. The graduation ceremony was amazingly short, so it was very easy. We got out of there really quick, but 2 people. When I went to college, I graduated from a class of 2,000 people. Very, very different for me, but I absolutely loved it. I was able to meet so many different people on campus, people that you're able to meet as well. We have just about 5,000 students on campus. All 50 states are represented, even, Alaska, Hawaii, even Wyoming. I did not know that anyone even lived in Wyoming, right? But apparently they do. They come to Pensacola Christian College. 54 different countries as well represented on campus. I had roommates from literally all over the world, okay? It was so much fun. I enjoyed it. Last thing I'm going to mention by way of campus life, and I do not know what's going on. Everybody go like this with me, right? No, I'm just kidding. I'm not sure what's going on with that slide, but this one is one of my favorite ones to talk about because, let's see if we can fix it here. This happened to me earlier, actually. There we go. Sometimes people like to ask me about, we already heard it, convenience this morning. What is the daily life going to be like for me? I sometimes with groups of students, I'll go through and tell them about our dining facilities. We've got 2 different dining facilities. One of them is 8 lines of all-you-can-eat food. It kind of looks like a food court, right? You got your seating area. It's about 1,500 seating area in the middle with all the different lines of buffet-style food there. Another one, we actually have 3 lines of all-you-can-eat food. That one has your hamburgers, hot dogs, chicken tenders, pizza, those types of things. One of my favorite things on campus, we actually have a cereal bar. I love cereal. I took advantage of that all the time. But we have 3 different restaurants on campus as well. One of them, I'm only going to tell you one. You have to ask me about the other 2 later, but one of them is Chick-fil-A, okay? Do you guys like Chick-fil-A? I keep meeting people, more and more people down here in the South. They're like, it's not our thing. We don't like Chick. I've got to take a step back here and ask, how many of you guys, when it comes to Chick-fil-A, you prefer Chick-fil-A over like Popeyes? Raise your hand. 1,000 times over. All right. Now, how many of you would be the few, the brave, the proud, the Marines? No, I'm just kidding. The few of you that would say, I like Popeyes better. I'm just curious. Why do you like Popeyes better? Like, what's better? Just tastes better? That's a good reason. That's a good reason. One of the biggest reasons we get is like the biscuits. They like the biscuits at Chick-fil-A better. I totally get that. But all that to say, we do have a Chick-fil-A on campus. You're going to have to ask me about the other restaurants as well when we get there, all right? But we'll have a little bit of a question and answer time for you guys to ask those things. All right. That was a lot about growth and how we can see you growing in different areas. We talked about academic, spiritual, and social growth. I want to take just a second and kind of step aside from growth, okay? Forget about growth. We're going to talk about a different area. When it comes to, well, let's ask it like this. How many of you, raise your hand, would say, I have heard the rumor that college is expensive? Anyone in here? All right, I'm the worst college rep you'll ever see because I'm going to tell you it's absolutely 100% true, okay? It's very, very true. College and higher education is expensive. Let's just briefly here talk about finances for just a second. If you'll think with me in your head just about Christian colleges in the country. Just Christian colleges, the average tuition, room, and board that you're looking at for the average price for 1 year is 30, 40, 50,000. That's just average in the Christian colleges. Now, think with me to state universities. You're looking at 70, 80, 90,000 every single year. Again, that's just normal. That's just how it is. Because of that, there's a lot of students in the country that actually graduate with some form of student debt. Does anyone in here, this might be fun, does anyone in here actually have a guess as to what percentage of students have student debt when they graduate? 80. Very, very close. Go ahead. We're getting a little further from where we need to be. One more. 82%. Sorry. No, we're looking right about 75%. So 3 out of 4. If we were to think of it this way, this center section and y'all, you guys are the 75. You guys are the ones that have no debt at all. Congratulations. Okay, that's a majority in here. Does anybody have another guess as to how many years it takes them to pay that debt off? Not a bad guess. Actually, who said until they die? Yeah, if I have time, I got to tell you a story about that because that's an interesting answer. Anybody else? Whoa, who said 20? Very, very close. Very, very close. Who said 22? 22 years. Nailed it right on the head. 22 years. I would dare say that there's not a single soul in this room except for maybe 4 people that are even 22 years old yet, right? 22 years is a long time. Think of it with me like this. I've already asked this, but where's my seniors one more time? Okay, here's what we're going to do. You guys seem like nice people. Sometimes I like to pick on the senior class. If we were to pick on one of our seniors, who would it be? Let's narrow it down. If we were to pick on one of our senior guys, who would it be? Steven, I think I'm going to need your help. Steven, can we get Steven's help up here real quick? Yeah, Steven. All right, which one of you is Steven? All right, here's what I need. I need help. So I guess Steven, you're the guy. So I need your help up here. So come up here real quick. Everyone give him some encouragement. All right. You will definitely, you might regret this. Okay, here's what we're going to do. Probably. Here's what we're going to do. Because we got Steven up here, I need your help. We can't get too crazy with this, but this is my favorite part, okay? I always do enjoy this. So Steven, how we doing?
Good so far.
Good so far, I promise. It's just going to get better for you today. I promise you that. Now, everybody imagine with me, this isn't going to be too hard because Steven's right here in front of you. Imagine with me that Steven, you would not even believe what he did. He shocks the whole world. I'm so glad you asked. He shocks everyone, and he just now graduates from high school. Give him a round of applause, everybody. Thank you so much. Yes, excellent. We are so proud of Steven. Now, here's what Steven does. Steven goes off to college because he wants to further his education. He does great. He's got straight A's. You guys are like, you've never met Steven before. I'm just kidding. No, he's got straight A's. He's the popular kid, right? He is student body president. Absolutely. There we go. But now here's what he does. This is the best part of the story. He graduates. While he was in college, he actually met somebody, and now he's getting married. I know it. I know it might be very hard to imagine with me, but he does. And now, the very best part, a couple years goes by, and Steven has his very first little baby boy. Now this is the part where Steven gets to get back at some of y'all. Steven, what are we going to name your beautiful baby boy?
Dude, I have no idea.
What did you say? No idea? Yeah. Normally, I'll give you a hint. Good answer. He said, I'll let my wife do it. Absolutely. I'll give you a hint. Here's what normally happens. When I ask this question, they normally pick some guy in here and say their name. So what are we naming your son?
Probably after my brother, I'm being honest.
What's your brother's name?
Stuart.
What is it? Stuart? Yeah. All right. Little baby Stuart, right? Your brother. Now, imagine with me, this is the story's just getting better, okay? The story's just gonna get better. Here's little baby Stuart. He's a really short guy, right? Baby Stuart, he starts growing up. He goes through elementary school, middle school, high school, and let me tell you what, this guy right here, he's such a great parent. He wants to help pay for baby Stuart, who's now a senior in high school, to go off to college. But listen, he cannot do that because, man, he is still paying for his own college debt from 17, 18, 19 years prior, right? That is how 75% of the country is finding themselves. Again, I say all these things just to put it into perspective to get you to think about them. Thank you so much. Give him a round of applause. I appreciate your willingness to help us out this morning. Again, why do I give you all this information? It's to get you to start to think about putting this all into perspective. Now, you guys are sitting there and you're looking at me like, you are crazy. You are the worst. You are the worst college representative we've ever seen because no one even wants to think about college at this point. It's very, very expensive. You're right. It is very expensive. At Pensacola Christian College, it's a little bit different because instead of the $30,000, the $40,000, the $50,000 tuition, room, and board for one semester, we're looking right around $11,000 for the entire year. Now, look at the comparison here. We're looking about less than half of the next most affordable Christian college. Now, sometimes people raise their hand and they're like, 11,000, that is trash. What are they feeding you? What are they teaching you? We'll get to that in a second, okay? Someone remember that and ask me that in just a little bit. But that's my magic number for today is 11336 for the tuition, room, and board. Again, tuition, room, and board is just a fancy name for price, right? 11336. Now we already went through a story here where 22 years worth of student debt had kept up with them. How does that compare with Pensacola Christian College and the amount of debt that your students are seeing? It's actually almost turned on its head. Instead of 75% with debt, 22 years of debt, it's just about under 80% have no debt at all when they graduate. I had a lot of personal friends. They graduated, they got their diploma, they flew all the way back to Southern Florida, wherever they came from, and then they actually got a check in the mail from Pensacola Christian College because they made money while they're in school. I know sometimes people say 11,000 is comparatively small, but I don't have 11,000 in my back pocket. How many of you have $11,000 in your back pocket right now? There's always at least one in every single school. There we go, right there. There's always at least one, but listen, for everybody else, the majority of us do not have 11,000 in our back pocket. How do 80% of your students graduate with no debt? There's 3 reasons, and I'm going to go through them very quickly with you. Number 1, student employment. Get a job on campus. We talked about the Chick-fil-A, right? Get a job at Chick-fil-A. Number 2 would be scholarships. Okay, set everything else that I just set aside and focus on this real quick. Wherever you choose to go to college, if college is the next step for you, check out the scholarships. Scholarships are one of those things that they really are as good as they sound. Like you apply for a scholarship and you get free money. That's what a scholarship is. We do have 7 different types of scholarships available to you, 70 private scholarships as well. Definitely check them out. The very last thing, 4th year tuition free. If you go to Pensacola Christian College for 4 years, it's exactly like what it sounds like. Your senior year, you come back and you don't have to pay any of your tuition. It's 100% free. Some people like to ask me, well, why is it free? Who cares? It just is, right? It's just the program you enrolled yourself in, 4th year tuition free program. It's 100% free. Sometimes students raise their hand and they say, well, how much is tuition anyway? $400, $500, $600. It's about $7,000. So I'm not very good at math, so do this with me. 11,000 is where we're starting, minus about 7. You're looking about $4,000 your last year, $2,000 a semester. That's how we're able to be able to graduate 80% of our students 100% debt-free. Listen, as I go through this information with y'all today, here's why I do it. It's because I would love to get you guys the information you need to be able to make an informed decision in the future. I would absolutely be thrilled if every one of you would consider Christian education, not just Pensacola Christian College, not just us at all, but Christian education. Open the door to it. See what it is that God has for you, okay? Trying to get you to make an informed decision in the future. Really quickly, I'm actually going to pass some of these things out before I let you go. How many of you... and I would assume not a lot. Could I actually get someone's help to help me pass? Yeah, go ahead, one of you. Thank you. I really appreciate it. How many of you, let me explain it before I hand this off to you to pass out. Whoops. Really quick. What this is, you'll see this card here. It has two things on the front of it. It has a really ugly face. Sorry, I'll hand them to you in a second. A really ugly face and a phone number. Both of them belong to me, right? I'm going to hand these out, and I would love for you to fill this out with your information. Now, here's why. I'm not going to, I promise. Students don't believe me. I promise I'm not going to spam you. I'm not going to send you a bunch of emails. It's my own personal card because I want you to text me with questions that you might have, okay? I get lots of texts about all sorts of things. A couple weeks ago, I was in Tampa, and I got a text. The guy said, you gave us your phone number, so now here are 100 memes for you to enjoy. And I got 101 text messages in like 5 minutes, and they were pretty good memes. So if you want to check, that's fine. But let me know your questions. Sometimes people say, well, I would never go to Pensacola Christian College. Why would I need to fill this out? Still fill it out, and then mark on there that it's not one of your options, right? It's the only thing I'm asking of you to do today. So I'm going to actually go ahead and pass these to you to hand out to everybody. Now, does anyone need a pen? Or do we all, for the most part, have pens? Okay. I will go ahead and give these to you. Would you mind passing one of these out to everybody? I really appreciate it there. I really appreciate your help. And again, I'm doing this because I'm trying to, I would love to be able to help you out with any questions that you might have. Now, while we are passing these out, does anybody have any questions about anything I mentioned today? 3 here. It's the pen dealer. You still need one? Yes. I'll get to that in a second, and I will make an announcement. All right, here for y'all. Appreciate it. 3. I am struggling so hardcore today. Here's 2 of them there. Thank you. And then 2 of them here. Thank you, sir. Yes, absolutely. Does anybody need a pen? 1 pen. Anyone else need a pen? Okay. Do me a favor, fill that out as quick as possible. As soon as you're done with that, I'm actually going to have you turn those in, and we will collect them here in just a second. All right. Now, I did have one question, and by the way, I will take any questions that y'all might have at this time. I did have one question, and it was about sports. What kind of sports do we got? Thank you so much. I appreciate that. What kind of sports do we offer? What can you get involved with? Let me tell you, there's a couple different categories. First category would be collegiate sports, right? I mentioned that earlier. I'll start with college athletics, okay? We have men's basketball, men's soccer, and then we also have women's basketball, women's volleyball. That's on the college level. If you want to go to the play with collegians, that's where you're going to find a lot of random stuff like obviously basketball, football, soccer, volleyball, softball, baseball, even random things like broom hockey and a lot of random stuff. Yeah. 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 It probably is. But yeah, those are the ones that are a little bit more random. But that's a little overview by way of college athletics for you. Does anybody else have any more questions? What's that? I have no idea which one of you is talking because y'all are wearing masks. Go ahead, one more time. If you can fill as much or as little as you'd like, I would appreciate it if it were all filled out, but of course I'm not going to force any information from you. Good question. Yes? Yep, so that would be on our college athletic, and okay, here. I told you I'm a college representative, but I may look like I have all the answers, but I don't. This is the question I always forget, so actually have it written down here. Yes, those extras. What's that? Oh yeah, absolutely. Do you just need one for yourself, or? Yeah, absolutely. I'll just give you the whole stack. This is me cheating, okay? Don't tell my boss that I'm looking this up. I actually have it written down right here. Okay, when it comes to our college athletics, NCAA, oh my goodness. NCAA Division II. However, most of the colleges we play are NCAA Division III or NAIA Division I. So good question. Anybody else have any more questions? Okay, if you are done with that connection card, I'm looking at my time here. If you're done with that card, go ahead and tear it at the perforated edge. You guys can keep the top half that has my face on it. Now, if you can do me a favor, could you please pass them for y'all here, pass them into this aisle, and then for everybody on the left side, go ahead and pass them in here. I will come collect those in just a second. Do we have any more questions? I want to make sure that we've answered everything that y'all might have questions about today. All right. Most times people ask me about the food. I'm shocked no one did. Oh, wow. What a great question. I'm glad you asked. So the other 3 restaurants, I did mention Chick-fil-A. We do have another restaurant on campus that we call the Palms Grill. It's our own restaurant. It looks like a Panera Bread. That's the best way I can describe it. And then we also have a Papa John's Pizza on campus. Now, this one actually comes with a little secret, and I don't tell this at every school, so you guys are getting something extra today. If you are on campus and you're in your room and you call Papa John's Pizza up, they will actually deliver your meal straight to your actual individual room. So they will deliver anywhere on campus for you. A lot of students don't even know that. So now you guys are in the know about Papa John's. All right, I will go ahead and collect. I'm just going to come up the aisle here and collect them. Appreciate it. We're almost done here. Go ahead and tear it at the perforated edge. I don't want the top half. Well, let's do it this way. Yep, you got it. Did I get everyone's over here? Good to go? Yes. You can keep it. Yeah, you passed them up. Thank you so much. Did I get y'all's? Perfect. Appreciate it. Can I grab them from you? Appreciate it. So are they still working on it? That's perfectly fine. I'll come around the other side. Anyone here? Oh, thank you so much. Did I grab? Oh, I'll come around to the other side. Did you pass them in? And okay. Yes, I'm coming around to this side. Thank you so much. Connection cards. Are you not done with it, or do you not want to fill it out, or? No. Oh, that's fine. That's fine. No worries at all. Any more from here? You got them all? If you're not done with it, go ahead and just turn it in to me on the way out. What's your question? That's just telling us where the college ranks, like. Oh, that's awkward. Could you do me a favor and search through that? I'm trying to juggle a mic. That's just telling us if it's an option for you, not an option at all, those types of things. Thank you. Did I grab y'all's? Go ahead and tear the top half off. I do not need that top side. It's perforated there. Okay, at this time, here's what we're actually going to do something a little bit different. I'm actually going to, if there's no more questions, I need y'all to do me a favor. Number one, thank you so much for the opportunity just to be with y'all today. I really do appreciate it. I get to do this at a lot of different places, and the best part, and I truly mean it, the best part about it is meeting the different people every time, and sometimes it's great, and sometimes it's a little less great, but today has been really great. I don't know if you had fun. I enjoyed myself, so I thank you so much. For those of you watching as well, really appreciate the opportunity to be able to share some time with you today. What I'm going to ask is this. I'm going to dismiss everybody that's not a junior or a senior. Juniors and seniors, just stuck with me for about 5-10 more minutes. If you have not turned in your connection card, definitely come see me, and I will collect that here from you before you take off. And then the second thing is, if you have any questions, you want any brochures, literature, those types of things, please come see me afterwards as well. But other than that, freshman and sophomore, you are dismissed at this time. Yes, go ahead.